Welcome, predecessor fans, to the PPL Week 4. I'm HDPhillyB, and in the booth with me tonight is the one and only marvelous medicine man himself, Dr. Shadow, and we are here to guide you through a battle between Mach 10 and Hive. Doc, this is the first time we'll be casting these squads in the PPL. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I'm super ready. I mean, on one hand, we've got a team that is hungry to win it all, Mach 10. And then on the other side of it, we've got a team who has been really struggling to find their footing since really putting on a great showing during the qualifier tournament leading into the season 2 here. So I'm really interested to see if this is the set where Hive really finds their footing and can claim their first victory, or if Mach 10 is just going to continue just their dominant trend here with having seemingly figured out the game despite all the new patches.
Yeah, Hive, they're in desperate need of some points right now to get them out of that relegation zone, but it's definitely going to be a tough hill to climb as Mach 10, they're tied for second with Flow State. They're just looking to maybe punch one more opponent away to get to that top spot, but Mythic is the one currently holding on to it. We'll definitely have that table for you. But Doc, I think what the fans are most excited for is that this is the first professional game where we will allow Yurei to go onto the battlefield. I'm expecting the last Kuro Shinzo to make their way into Sanctuary at least at some point during the set.
Yeah, I mean, if she doesn't make it into one of the games on Sanctuary, she's definitely going to be one of the bans. But I have a feeling that there's going to be other more high priority bans to take out of this game. I'm really expecting to see things like the Countesses and the Rampages and potentially even the Richters, especially with Bartledew in this game. So we might get her, and it is exciting because we've only seen her pre-balance patch in some of those more or less competitive, like more laid-back showcase environments. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be the first time where we see potentially Yurei being piloted by some of the best players in the entire world.
Absolutely. And we were talking in the green room about Norf. That is one of his kind of characters, very high tempo, aggressive, jumpy sort of player. And so Yurei kind of fits the bill in that regard. But you make a really fantastic point, Doc, in the fact that there are some really great characters right now, namely the Countess, that, okay, if you're prioritizing that in the draft, then the Yurei is going to squeak through because there's other characters. And so sometimes the meta forms because of the characters that you need to ban. So I would like to see the Yurei at some point. But Doc, we were also talking about the nerfs to the magical armor in terms of the growth. Like everyone feels a little bit more squishy when it comes to the magic power here in Sanctuary.
Yeah, this is absolutely a mage patch. I mean, it's the reductions to magic resistance, the improvements to some of the accessibility and raw stats for some of the mage items. It's exciting because it felt like for the last, 6 months approximately, it felt like mid laners really their job was create map pressure and rotate to objectives. Whereas here, I think we're really going to see them winning fights, winning games, getting picks, like having more impact rather than just doing their job well, right? And this game, this set today, Hive against Mach 10, I mean, we have a PCC champion, Bry, in the mid lane for the size of Mach 10. One of the all-time, if not the all-time best mid laner, period, end of sentence. And then up against him is an up-and-comer, Aho, who he's nobody to scoff at. Like, I've seen him play against some of these higher-level players, and I've played against him, and he is quite good in the mid lane. I would just say his biggest weakness up against Bry is going to be having a smaller hero pool. But I do think that this set here is going to be a battle of the mid laners. Which mid laner is going to have the biggest impact to enable the other outside lanes to really thrive and succeed in this game?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like in the last, couple of months, we've seen where it's been the carry and then the jungler and then the offlaner have been the top priority positions in terms of what you're drafting in priority wise, and also in terms of who you're giving your gold to, who you're giving your mini prime buffs to, right? We might see some mini prime buffs on a mid laner here to help create some of that pressure across the map, swing the fights, etc. So very interesting to see. In terms of the hero pool for Aho, we have some stats here brought to you by our commissioner, Lord and Chief D-Dog. Aho's played the Belka 4 times throughout PPL Season 2, and that's by far and away the most out of any other mid laner. So I would expect they're going to prioritize the Lieutenant at some point in the draft. I mean, if we do see Belka picked up for Hive, it's going to be Aho, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to take the Bellica away because Bry, his signature bread and butter is either the Howitzer or the Bellica, right? So you can either ban the Bellica or you can counterpick the Bellica to take that away from him. Um, so keeping Bry in kind of a pure, I don't know, in a position of discomfort is going to give give the side of Hive the best opportunity to shut him down, which is also going to rely on pressure from Nugslet coming from the jungle, and that's not going to be easy with Norf kind of backing him up and reading his movements. Because if there's any jungler in the game who can read Nugslet, it's going to be Norf. He's a psycho just as much as Nugslet. So Norf is just going to be there almost every single time. I can guarantee it.
It's going to be a chest match in that jungle, so going to be one to watch, folks. For now, though, we're going to take a quick look at the standings to see where these teams lie. You can see Team Mythic there at the top, unbeaten, unblemished with the maximum amount of points. And then right there, we have Flow State and Mach 10. Like we said, Doc, it's a huge day for Mach 10. If they can win this clean and in 2-0 fashion, they can get a lot more points on the board, compete for that first place spot. And then Hive, like we mentioned, in that relegation zone. That's not where they want to be. But Doc, if they 2-0 today, they get 2 points. They catapult themselves into fourth. They're above the line.
Yeah, if they can prove themselves here and get a 2-0, a solid 2-0 victory over Mach 10, it could very well put them in the middle of the pack, if not over the middle of the pack, by shutting Mach 10 down. And that's not even accounting for the potential mental damage that would do to Mach 10 heading out of this match into the following 2 weeks of regular season play. So it's this is going to be exciting to see, and who is going to come out on top against Team Mythic is really anybody's game out of those top 3 following Team Mythic: Flow State, Mach 10, and Primal currently.
Absolutely. And there's even the $100 on the line, Doc, not even just about the pride of your team. There's cash, of course, to be paid out at the end of it all. So, if just beating your friends is not enough, there's that money that you need to vie for as well. So definitely a lot on the line, folks. This is one match you want to watch. I believe we have the draft ready here because I'm excited to get into it, Doc. We've talked a little bit about the players. We've talked about what we might see in terms of picks and bans. But now there's only one way to find out, and we are into the draft.
Hive is Dudikov. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, right out the gate, we do see Mach 10 knocking the Countess off the board here. Again, going back to the magic resistance point that you made earlier, she's not necessarily a mid laner, but that magic damage is just so insane right now. And unfortunately, we are not going to see Yurei in this game. Yurei also getting banned off the board, along with from the side of Hive. They are targeting Norf right now. They are taking his Kwang and his Feng Mao off the board. They don't want to deal with that right now, and can't really blame them. But unfortunately, there's now a Monkey King, a Wukong, coming out by Mach 10 first pick.
This is very interesting because, Doc, we've seen Monkey pretty much everywhere. They could be in the mid lane, they could be in the jungle, they could be in the off lane, right? They could pull out something even different. Who knows? What if he's the carry? No, probably not. But the Monkey is just so versatile is the point I'm getting at. And then the Hive we're seeing over here, picking up the Bellica, like we talked about in our pregame show, definitely going over to Aho. And then the Richter, we've seen paired up really well with the Sparrow. Unfortunately, the draft is going lightning quick, Doc. Barely get the points out, but the Richter, another versatile pick.
Yeah, the Richter coming out does have that flexibility to be support, to be offlane, to be jungle. I love Richter, and I love to see his resurgence. I feel like, again, for about 4 months, no one was really picking Richter because there were just better options. So I love the integration of some of these augments that enhance his ability to have an impact on the map. So I'll be interested to see where that goes on Hive. But coming out from Mach 10, we do see that Gideon most likely going to be piloted by Bry, unless Bartledew is doing some crazy Gideon support something. Who knows? But the Monkey, to your point about the Monkey flexibility, potentially could have been Bry playing wannabe Appy Picker in the mid lane, but it's most likely going to be a Norf just because I mean, he loves those high mobility psycho heroes who could just do so much because he spends hundreds of hours just limit testing to the absolute extent of the hero's capabilities. So I'm excited to see Norf piloting this Monkey. But on the side of Hive, a nice little safety pick coming out here for Boinks, which is now going to reveal to us that Richter is, in fact, either going to be jungle or off lane.
Ooh, and I love to see the Warden waddling through Sanctuary, trying to hook people from the fog wall. So that's going to be one to account for. I'm seeing the chat here, Doc, kind of mentioning where's the Seraph? Usually was the priority ban. Like she has to go. But I think with the kind of nerf to her augment that created the stun, they reduced it by like 0.25 seconds or whatever it is. People found a way around it. They think there's more versatility, especially with Ure on the map, thinking that that's more priority. So that's probably why we're not seeing the Seraph here. There's still some vulnerability there. Doc, as the draft continues, I do want to point out our video montage here in the middle of the draft screen is all content created by you, our fans, our viewers, our supporters. So if you have a cool clip to show us, definitely send it our way. You can post it in the clip Discord or clip server in our Discord chat. Sorry, Doc. But what I'm seeing here is now the Drongo being taken off the board. And I love that because he got scaled up pretty heavy in the last patch.
He is quite strong right now, and I've been just seeing clip after clip of him getting pentakills just repeatedly in all these Paragon lobbies, nonetheless.
Mm.
So it definitely makes sense to take the Drongo out, especially when Mach 10 has already secured their carry there in the form of that Sparrow. In terms of the Bartledew hero who's going to be protecting that Sparrow, I like the Mornband coming out from Hive. They know that essentially limits Bartledew to picking Narbash, so we're most likely going to see Bartlebash here. But only time will tell. But coming out here on the side of Hive, Kev Kaoken going to be piloting his famous Twin Blast. It is a favorite. It is a reliable pick. There's nothing like flashy or super special about him. But you know what? Don't hate it. Don't love it. Don't hate it.
I mean, especially he does a lot of magic damage, so I think that's a fine pick. He's played Twin Blast twice, Revenant twice, Sparrow twice, Skylar one. So anybody is kind of in the docket here for Kev KO Ken, and then a quick twofer for the side of Mach 10. They're picking up the Steel Doc, which could go into the support, maybe into the off lane here. Now that we're looking at it, it's just this monkey is kind of the oddball out. Is it a Wukong support, Doc? Is that what we're seeing?
Nah, Bartledew has a type, right? His type is big beefy boys, and Steel aligns with that type. I don't think Monkey does. I will eat my sock if he plays Wukong. I will eat it on camera if he plays Wukong support. But he loves the big beefy boys, so I am 99% confident this is going to be a Steel support here. And then the Yin, so that's going to be another high skill ceiling hero here, which could be offlane, could be jungle. So now I don't know. I'm actually second guessing myself about who Norf is going to be piloting, because he could easily pilot either of those heroes. But on the side of Hive, we do see Nugslet's signature crunch coming out. So that does tell me that Richter is going to be in that offlane role, most likely, piloted by Mr. Guru. So I'm excited to see that, because I have not seen the Richter offlane in a very, very long time.
Yeah, that's going to be. I wonder if it's Richter versus Steel. That's going to be a very kind of boring off lane. They're just going to be boxing each other, these two massive cyborgs. So maybe if that happens, because Doc, I'm thinking that the Yin has got to go to North, right? We've highlighted how psychotic he can be in the jungle with some of these high mobility heroes, and Yin has that in spades. Which, speaking of which, we haven't seen Yin in such a long time. She used to be a menace out there in Sanctuary. Now kind of fell to the wayside, but. Yeah, Doc, I think any final thoughts here before we hop into it?
Hive definitely has comfort picks that they like. Bellica being piloted by Aho, Nugslet piloting the Crunch, TB piloted by Kev. I'm not so certain. I don't know enough about Mr. Guru in the offlane. Oh, Boink's piloting the Decker as well. So that's 4 comfort picks at least that I know of on the side of Hive. Mach 10, they got some weird stuff going on here. So they very well could be in the kitchen adding too many spices, or very likely they could be Professor X dropping all the spices in to make the Powerpuff Girls. Who knows? But I just based on draft alone, knowing nothing about the players, if I turn that part of my brain off, I got to give the edge to Hive here.
Okay, I like it, Doc. You like some of their dive ability. There's some of their engage tools that they have, the rip lash, the forward crunch, things of that nature. But Doc, I'm always a big fan of the big wombo combo ultimates, and I'm seeing the black hole shield slam for the side of Mach 10. So that's going to be something to contend with. I'm seeing the chat; they are ready to go, and I know you and I are. Let's hop into the sanctuary. And there we have it, ladies
Oh
and
no.
gentlemen. Doc, I think you're gonna have to bring out a sock, friend.
Oh no. Oh no.
Shoot. Uh, okay, well let's
Ugh.
break this. Let's break this down for the folks at home. What does this Wukong support provide, especially with a sparrow that requires a lot of peel, a lot of front line to kind of stay alive in these engagements?
Well, he does a lot of damage, so you can't ignore him in the fights. Like it's going to be very difficult to just run right past him and get onto the Sparrow. He also offers quite a bit of control. He has the knockback, so if you happen to get on top of Sparrow, he's just going to force push you away, and you're going to have to find another way to get on top of her. But then if you do that, he has Cycle Breaker, which is going to stun them and allow Sparrow to create some distance potentially. So in theory, this hero actually has quite a decent amount of control with fast cooldowns. Also offers a little bit of lane pressure with those clones, lane
Mm,
pressure and or harass with the clones. So this is going to be really interesting. We can see Bartledew coming around with a little flank early on to apply some pressure to Kev here.
okay, and he has the high impact, and there he goes, squishing Kev KO Ken. He's got to go Super Saiyan to get out of this one. Expends the blink early, Doc, and this is Bartledew doing some crazy work, expending that blink early. That is a massive cooldown gone from the side of the Hive.
That is a massive cooldown indeed, and Kev Kaokin not respecting or not necessarily understanding
Mm,
what this Wukong support is capable of. Very interesting. I mean, I don't blame him, right? It's not something that I see very often, that many people play against very often. So it's definitely a learning process for him in this game. But they are applying solid pressure there. But in the mid lane there, did I see a blink or what was that? Was it a no,
I
I
don't
did
see,
not. It
yeah.
was not a blink. It was not a blink. I don't know what I saw. I'm
Maybe
making things up.
a torn space, but it doesn't look like he has that online just yet. So, Doc, we took a little bit of a look at the augments, and we do have the masterful mimicry for the side of Bartledew. So that'll get him to have the extra max clones, generate the stacks a little bit faster, so he can put that pressure into that dual lane. I mean, the Decker is a massive threat in terms of that dual lane, just can push the wave in extremely well, can do has that increase in magical damage now because of the patch. So you got to keep pace with that Decker in the dual lane.
Yeah, you do have to keep pace with it, but again, another thing that the Wukong does is also lane pressure, right?
Mm,
The clones,
hmm
the cycle breaker, potentially when they want to push out from this tower, they're not going to have any issue doing that with the combination of the Sparrow, the what is it, inner fire, I guess, and the clones just hitting. But over here, we see Nugslet applying a little pressure to this big, beefy boy who's not being piloted by Bartledew, but he is just going to walk away and be safe here. But meanwhile, in the duo lane, that big cooldown expended from Kev Kaokin results in first blood going the way of Wukong, going the way of Bartledew and his little crackhead support here, all off the back of North coming in with the red buff. And meanwhile, Bry in the mid lane is most likely going to go down here, forcing the blink.
Wow.
Boinks is not able to secure it there, though.
Yeah, not enough in the tank there from the Decker. The archaeologist kind of just pestering, just poking a little bit. Blinked herself though, Doc. So that's maybe not the trade that you'd like
Mm.
to see if they had one more photon disruptor that could have done the damage, but not to be. But I love that rotation from North. This is how we know he can clear so fast on this Yin, just making that rotation, making that call. And like you said, Doc, as soon as they were ready to push out of the tower, they did so knowing that North was there on the timing to get Kev KO Ken to carry down. That's the highest priority target in the game.
Yeah, I would love to be in their comms just to hear what he was saying to them. He most likely was saying, "I'm on my way, duo. I'm on my way, duo," which
Mm-hmm.
was that green light for Bartledew and and Sparrow to start pushing out from that tier 1 tower. So I love that, and that's just testament to their ability to communicate, and that's what really separates these S tier teams from the A tier teams. It's not to take anything away from Hive, right? Like they're in PPL, they qualified, but they are struggling to find their footing right now. But if they can win this, I'll consider bumping them up to a little S minus tier maybe. But there's still plenty of chaos going on. You can see the pressure in the mid lane that Boinks is applying to Bry. And meanwhile, Bartledew, though, trying to just be a menace to Kev, knowing that that blink is still down for another minute.
He may have expended his blink as well. I'm not seeing the golden check mark on top of his name, so he's going to have to be careful. He has all the mobility in the world, but still, you can be CC'd with the side of the Decker. I'm going to be curious about his item build as we move into it. Doc, we've discussed the monkey at length as he tosses in the cycle breaker. Now under duress here a little bit, but look at that hop, skip, and a jump. I do want to talk about that off lane just a little bit to see if there's anything to be talking about. Because right now the Steel, he's pushing up and he's got a huge wave crashing in as well.
Steel was trying to make something happen there, though. He got Mr. Guru real low under that tier 1 tower, and it looked like Mr. Guru potentially hit a Riplash. I'm not exactly certain what happened there, but it did result in a big tower hit, hitting Bondrewd, knocking him down low there. But both kind of in equal points here, but a Riplash pulls Bondrewd under the tier 1 tower,
Ooh.
hitting one tower shot, one more, and that would have been certain death or almost certain death. And here comes Nugslet to try to finish the deal, but Bondrewd does expend the blink. Nugslet, though, blinking to pursue. Will he be able to dash? No, he won't. Bondrewd gets out.
And that is just a testament to how good this player is able to toe the line. Doc, any other player you feel like would have died there as the crunch was coming through. Ooh, very, very close there. And as we go back to the dual lane, it's another kill for the Lakeinator. It's this Bartledew monkey just putting in the work. He does go down against Cave KO Ken. That's a trade of supports, but you feel like Lakeinator, he's getting the better of the trades here in the duo.
I love what I'm seeing from Mach 10 right now. I mean, this is such a different playstyle than what we normally see in a Bartledew lane. In the mid lane, though, we did see just Bondrewd coming to try to protect his mid laner. Might try to get an exit kill here on Aho, but Aho did end up doing a 1v1, killing Bry. Aho breaking ankles, though, which is actually going to result in a Riplash into a skewer, and Bondrewd falls as well.
Oh my God,
Holy
the rotation there, the entire team coming to the aid of their mid
beast.
laner. Doc, that's a testament to how good Aho is, and they know they have to facilitate him, their mage, to be one of the carries in this game.
I yeah, I am just baffled that Ahu survived there. He had actually just a hair of HP there. But what I was saying about the Bartledew lane is just the oppression, right? You pick a hero to oppress with the Sparrow, and this Monkey King is so different, but it's
Mm.
working, right? Just so much damage with that little bit of control that's necessary. And they're just winning these trades flat out because Decker at this point in the game does not have the raw damage output to be able to kind of keep up with that oppression. She really is going to have to just peel and disengage and look for slower, more sustained trades. And meanwhile, Kev might be in danger here as the cycle breaker's coming out.
Oh, the stasis bomb just barely whiffs. There it is. The high impact. One more shot will do
Oh
it.
my
Oh my
God.
gosh. The pincer maneuver. It's Bartledew. They don't know where he is. They can't track him, Doc. And he's able to come up with the goods once again.
He can just jump over walls and avoid, if he knows there's a ward somewhere, he can just jump over a wall and walk around. There were no wards there in his defense here. I'm just saying he has that potential to do that, right?
Mm.
And he's actually, we're watching him jump over the wall and start Fangtooth as North is going to clean up his blue buff and head right in there, knowing that Kev Kaioken's on the way, though. Might be a little risky play, but meanwhile, Hive, they are going to be looking to secure their mini prime on the Nugslet, who has not had that X Factor presence yet, but he's level 7. Now is the time.
Doc, he's been spending a lot of time in that off lane trying to help out Mr. Guru against this burly Steel. Now he is painted in purple with the Berserker Axe online, no less. So he's going to put in a little bit of extra damage. The first Fangtooth of the match, ladies and gentlemen, will go the way of Mach 10. It's a trade of neutral objectives, and it's 3-3 on the board. Nugslet picking his time to strike, trying to take down the Cosmic Wizard, but I mean, that's not the guy you want to go on. He's got all the tools in the world. Now he's going to rotate, but it might be a little too late. The inner fire expended here from Lakeinator. Bartledew, he is extremely low, and there it is. One more shot from the twin pistols will take him down. It's just been all action here in the dual lane. Nugslet to clean up Bartledew. It's a double for the Hive.
Nugslet making the trek all the way across the map, Did not find too much success in the mid lane after burning the blink, though, from Bry. He just continued the path over here and was able to get a pickup onto that Wukong, who disengaged with low HP. And Kev Kaioken is able to kill Lakeinator there after Boinks broke some ankles, leveraging verticality as well as the angles on those little stairwells next to the tier 1 tower. So again, really great micro level play here on these comfort picks that these players are very familiar with. And it's something, right? They're on the map, or sorry, they're on the scoreboard right now. It's 3-5, one objective to one objective. They're down in Fangtooth overall, but overall, the game is not any like it is still very much anybody's game. This Bartleby Wukong is just causing some chaos right now, and the chaos seems to be very much in favor of Mach 10, but it's very much like it's not that cut and dry quite yet, especially seeing as Mr. Guru has not had a big opportunity to join an objective fight yet. But the Riplash pulls Bondroid under tower there, and meanwhile in the jungle, Norf is getting oppressed by Nugslet, who's not able to make it over that ledge, which I would have fallen over the ledge by accident had I attempted to just jump near it.
And that's what we talk about Norf on those high mobility heroes. He knows he can trick his way across the map, looking like a Tony Hawk pro skater. Bondruid, though, he's under pressure. Another Riplash connects, and he's not going to be long for this world. Mr. Guru gets the better of his opposite number. He shows he's the better cyborg here in this lane. It's a 4-person rotation, Doc. That seems a little odd considering the Prime is not on the board just yet. But I love this, though, because they're putting on so much tower pressure. They know that they're going to have to trade out from the duo lane. So if they can get this one down, that's going to even up the map just a little bit more.
They are taking some good pressure in that off lane. However, looking at the mid lane, we do see a tower. I guess it's 3. I guess it's only Bry's only taken 1 plate. For a second there, it looked like he took 3 plates, which was going to become an issue. But I digress there. So across the map, though, definitely a little favor toward Hive here in terms of tower plating gold. Probably about 200 net worth going in their favor. So it's, again, still very, very generous in their favor. But Lakeinator is looking to take that tier 1 in the duo lane as we speak. He is going to pop that third tower plate, and there is a giant wave crashing under. It's conceivable that tower could fall unless Kev's able to clear that wave fast. But Norf, he is lingering toward the Fangtooth, knowing that it's going to be spawning in about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. He's looking to make something happen onto Aho, who is actually going back to base. So probably scratching that plan.
They might be setting up for it, Doc. Just kind of everybody getting an item online and then moving over to the Fangtooth. It looks like the Hive, they're swarming around it, getting up some of that vision as well. I'm curious to see. I think the Twin Blast will probably have Solaris at this point. That'll be a good item spike for him. It's just about if these two beefy boys decide to stop punching each other for just a moment and make their way over to the dinosaur. Right now, though, it's Norf with the Windburn. He is just cutting through the Warden. He's got the better whip here. Mr. Guru looks like a fish out of water. A desperation skewer just to get a little extra shielding and buy himself some time, but nobody's here to help Nugslet. He might have dove in just a little too late. He might not be long for this world. It's a shield slam, though, to knock up the boxing robot, a bull rush into the wall. One more Windburn. It is the blink expended from Nugslet. It's a save your friend syndrome at the finest, stock there for the side of the Hive.
Whew, that would have been a disaster for them, more than it already was. Both junglers resetting, knowing that, oops, why were we in the off lane? I mean, Norf got a pick out of it. That was great. Nugslet, though, he should have stopped at the blue buff and just started walking over to that Fangtooth. However, Norf is going to just grab the red and run over there. All in all, kind of net neutral there. Yeah, slight favor to Mach 10 because they got a kill on the Guru, but Guru now able to basically rejoin this fight at full HP, full mana, full resources, full everything, minus his skewer right now. And Bartleby, though, he is doing some limit testing here with the Cloud Walk as he is going to walk away, opening a small window for Hive to start the second Fangtooth of the game.
Doc, I think they'll be able to finish it. I mean, everybody had reset because they were so low. Bry was poked out in that mid lane. The Void Drone just doing so much damage to him. It's about can they finish it? So they do. Mach 10, though, they might be blasting off into the night to look for some kills here. Grouping up as 5, though, is the Hive. They are ready to buzz. They are ready to sting. It is Bry over the top with the black hole. He doesn't get a lot of damage from it, but enough space created for Lakeinator to shoot in some arrows. Does find the jungler on the back end. There is Nuggets turn into chicken tenders. It's a double here for the Lake. Can he find some more? He seems to just be free firing in the back line here, Doc. It's disaster Hive. They lose 3.
Oh, are they going to lose 4? No, piercing shot did not connect on the boinks there. But that, I mean, that was what you were talking about wanting to see in the pregame chat, right? The big
Mhm.
wombo combos. Yes, the black hole did not suck everybody for the full duration, but it created this sort of chaos in that tight space corridor that allowed Sparrow, Lakeinator on that Sparrow, to use inner fire to pop those volleys of arrows that just cut the Hive team down in that space. Then they just pursued, and it was a matter of cleaning up after that. So they lack the team fight, and I think it was a questionable call by Hive to disengage from the Fangtooth in toward the mid lane. I
Mm.
think in their current state right now, I think they needed to play a little bit safer, and look for, force Mach 10 to overextend one of their heroes into that toward that duo lane, get a pick, and then pick a fight out of that. So a little tactical error there, but this Bartle dude forced to blink over the wall there after just being an absolute menace. I mean, if that's not role playing at its finest, I don't know what to tell you, because I mean, he's the mischief monster.
I love it. Doc, we're taking a little bit of a look at the items now. Bry has the Tainted Scepter online as we see a little bit of a skirmish here. Bartle do with no blink. It's Aho. He has to deadlift the team, and so he does the Neural Disruptor expended, shoots the Laughing Monkey out of the sky. We'll get to those items in just a moment, folks, but there's a ton of action on the board. Nugslit's making his presence known. It's another Riplash and a Skewer, but it's onto the beefy boy. He's going to survive this one. He even dives further in, Doc. It's a shield slam and a bull rush combination. The Windburn has a little extra range. The lash kick to stun him into place. Mr. Guru, he can't handle the pressure. And down he goes. It's North who turns the tides.
I didn't even see Norf in that engagement. He was like, he looked like a creep to me, but then everybody's HP was just falling. Meanwhile, though, Bry was able to secure a kill onto both Aho and Boinks here in the mid lane. Most likely pulled a very, very nice black hole there in tandem with his augment that gives him a shield on top of the true silver shield that he's picked up
Mm-hmm.
as the first item, which is it's not a usual pickup for mid laners, mid lane Gideons, at least in the last 6 months or so. But with the addition of this augment, it makes it that much more valuable to really ensure that you get a full duration black hole, because you get an extra shield on top of an extra shield on top of an extra shield, which lets you get the full duration off. You can see here Mach 10, they are looking to just starve Nugslit, knowing that his crunch is behind. So they are looking to just take everything from him to keep him down and out. And they're struggling to get anything for it because this Wukong is shifty.
Doc, right now it's about the macro game, and it's Mach 10 who's doing a better job. I mean, the skill, the score is kind of even. It's about when you win the fight, do you have enough
Oh
to
my
then go
God.
and take some towers? The Lakeinator, he just piercing shotted KO Kev KO Ken and took him down. There was nothing he could do, and his Bomb Druid taking on the world. North coming to his aid though, whipping people into submission, healing under the boot of the Yin. Mr. Guru running for his life. Doc, this like double ADC composition, it's tough for the Hive. Who do they go after? Who do they focus? Because there's two ADCs basically just pelting them left and right.
It is very hard, and it is even more difficult when you are clearly just not communicating. I'm just getting this vibe that Hive are not on the same page about who they need to be going on in these engagements, because they keep breaking off into two separate smaller groups, which
Mm.
allows Mach 10 and their bigger group to just run them down one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And it's just a very clear difference in the communication styles that these two teams are taking on. It Yeah, I mean, in terms of the early levels of the game, it was very even across the board. And now that the map has opened up, the tier one tower in the mid lane for Hive has fallen, opening that map up for the side of Mach 10. They've now come together as five, and the difference in their communication showing with Boinks getting caught out here, raising a cage. It's not going to be enough because the cycle breaker locks in place, and Bride does enough damage here. Aho now on the retreat.
And Doc, this is the scary part about this Bartledew monkey is that
Oh
you
my
can
God.
build as another kind of carry. He's got Mind Razor augmentation, so he's not like your typical support. He can just bully you out of lane, and so he does. I mean, this is just devious work from the side of Mach 10, just cooking something up. I'd like to see if they try this again against like Mythic or Flow State to see if it will fare. You know, that's the true test to see how that one will go. But it's that macro game for me, Doc, about how Mach 10 is controlling and constricting the map. Hive, they're kind of going for this pick composition, but when you're deathballing on the other side, really hard to find a pick.
Yeah, they're deathballing to get that first tower for themselves over in that off lane. They actually stopped Lakeinator's back here. Mr. Guru might be in danger here as he is rooted.
Uh-oh, took a little lazy back there. Has to blink now. There's three people chasing him. Fortunately, his two buddies are there for them as well. It's going to be a good, decent battle here in the duo lane if they decide to take it. Looks like the Hive will back off just for now. And Aho finds a shutdown across the map. He's been the saving grace here, the shining light for his squad. He has to stay alive in these fights. Doc, he puts down the seismic assault to try to lock somebody up. He could get Bartled if he does get hit by the cycle breaker. It does find him, but it is the Leaf Song that helps the monkey get out of dodge this time. On the other end, that 3v3, like we were talking about, did break out into a scuffle. Lakeinator finds another. Fine, make it two, Doc.
Make it almost three here because Kev Kaoken. Oh, just kidding. Yep, nope, that's three. That's going to be Boinks.
What?
Oh my God, what is this game? Lakeinator's just limit testing at this point. Just, I mean, they found everything there, and all four. I mean, they didn't even kill Kev Kaoken. So Boinks is happy to die for that. But that was just chaos. I don't even know where to begin with that pure chaos, but that's what we expect from a Monkey King game. The mischievous mayhem monster himself, right? Isn't he like the king of mischief? Isn't that his whole like thing?
Yeah.
So this is definitely role playing. Again, as I said, it's role playing at its finest. And Bartledew, with the basics of support just mastered, he is controlling the map so nicely with these deep vision wards around what his team is saying is going to be the next objective, which is going to be that orb prime. And he's applying map pressure here with his clones. So he's forcing a response, but in the mid lane, though, a 4v4 is breaking out.
Oh, but without the monkey and without a lot of damage, but it doesn't even matter. Bry goes over the top of the black hole. He sucks in the robot and dismantles him into little pieces. It's two down. It's Boinks caught out again. Aho goes in for the seismic assault, just barely whiffs onto that one. Once again, Doc, you feel like it's all on Aho. He's got to get a seismic assault. He's got to get those engagements in to really make something happen for the Hive.
Yeah, that was a disastrous fight because not only did they not get anything for it, but they also lost their inhibitor to a support Wukong all by himself, just pushing in that off lane. His clones, that pressure that he applies, forcing that heavy response from the side of Hive, now opens this free orb prime objective to the boys on Mach 10. And all the meanwhile, Hive doesn't even get to contest it because Bartledew is still applying pressure. He's still jumping in and out of the fog wall, showing his face, just applying pressure. He might fall. He does fall to Kevkaoken finally, but he did his job, man. He got the inhibitor. He opened up the map even more, forcing a passive pressure into that off lane in favor of Mach 10. And his team got an Orb Prime. So they're going to look to just solidify their lead here by closing out the map and moving toward that third Fang for themselves. Well, fourth Fang of the game, their third Fang.
And you feel like that might be what puts the final nail in the coffin, right? Lakeinator dodging that stasis bomb. If that had connected, Nugslet was right there for the uppercut. So that could have been disastrous. But Lakeinator, one of the best in the business, folks. He has eyes in the back of his head. They're going to be gearing up here for this next Fangtooth, Doc, like you mentioned. So they're not going to maybe want to take too many fights. Maybe if they find somebody caught out, they'll dive on them. But for me, it's the Hive. What is their engage? They have to have Mr. Guru find a good Ripplash, but he seems to be preoccupied most of the time here, my friend.
He is definitely spending a lot of time trying to create map pressure because they are losing the map pressure game right now. And it is very difficult because, yeah, they have a Twin Blast and a Bellica, which covers two lanes, but they just don't have a great answer, right? The Crunch isn't necessarily doing that. We do see him applying a little pressure here in the mid lane, but he's spending a lot of time doing that, and their engage is very difficult. As you said, it relies on going fishing and hitting a hook, and creating that chaos to allow Nugslet a chance to get into the fight. But Nugslet hasn't had a chance to get into the fight. Norf peels off the Fangtooth, is forced to blink, is skewered, is going to get beat down here, but the follow-up black hole to protect him might actually save him. No, Norf dies.
It's a jungler for jungler exchange here now. Who is going to be the carry? Oh, wait, there's still a Sparrow on the board. All the while, Bartledew has just ransacked the base over there. It is Bry, though, over the top with a double kill. The Cosmic Mage, it's still a threat. Oh my goodness, that's the power of the magic here in this new patch, folks. All the while, Bartledew is just playing keep away with Ken. That's the bulk of the damage gone. He goes down, but he's cackling all the way home. It's 4 members down for the Hive. That basically the Hive is empty, Doc.
The Hive is absolutely empty. They are lacking their stingers right now because during that entire Fangtooth engagement where they lost four, they didn't have their carry. They didn't have Kev
Mm.
Kaoken because he was the one responding to the push that was coming out from the chaotic little Monkey King. So they were missing a huge chunk of their damage because with a Crunch and with the Richter, both struggling to find ways into these fights. Damage is just lacking. They're not able to do anything in these fights. So that does free up that third Fang, well, fourth Fang of the game, third Fang going the way of Mach 10, which is going to be a boost to their offense and defense in this game one, best of three. And Mach 10 feeling very strong. Just every minute this game goes, Mach 10 is just hitting more and more inertia and just continuing to become harder to stop because Hive is just lacking the map pressure. They're lacking the response to be able to push back from the pushing that's happening against Mach 10, especially with the Orb Prime buffed minions pushing into them for the next minute and a half.
Doc, you feel like this has kind of escalated quickly, right? Like before it was kind of back and forth, it was going, and then it just hit a point where Mach 10 said, okay, we're good now. And then they just started running train across the entire map, and there's nothing the Hive can do. The little bees falling left and right, not able to swarm together. Now it's about how does Mach 10 kind of close this one out? They have an even more larger lead with the third Fangtooth, getting that bonuses to offense and defense. Lakeinator has just been absolutely shredding kids. I mean, has what, almost 5 items online, so it's going to be putting a lot of hurt on. It looks like we'll have a 1-3-1 split here, Doc. Another tower goes down.
That is another tier 2 tower, and that is going to be both inhibitors that are getting pressured here by the Primal Blaze empowered Mach 10, and they are looking to systematically close the game out. Kev Kaoken, though, does find a kill onto Bondrewd, who approached through that downed inhibitor in the off lane and kind of rotated toward the mid lane, getting poked out there. So that is kind of an overstep by Bondrewd, which is a window of grace for the side of
Mm.
Hive in this defense, but it's still not looking great. Their wave shove is very, very weak right now compared to what Mach 10 is pumping out into this map, especially with the Primal Blaze. So it's gonna be a core fight. I can feel it in my core of my being here.
Everyone in chat, get ready to do your crunches because we are at the core. This Norf, he is so tanky, Doc. The Draconum and the Terminus. He's going to be so difficult to take down, especially if he finds the elimination. Boinks from the back line, tossing in all of their CC abilities, trying to keep the people away from the core. Though the creeps, they keep marching forward. Now all three inhibitors down are on the edge of our seats, folks. This could be the end of game number one. It's going to be a final 5v5 fight. How do they engage? And it is a nice seismic assault into the Rip Blast for the black hole. Once again, on top of everybody, sucking them in, and the inner fire laid on top just shreds through, finding Aho. That's the bulk of their damage down. But KO Kev says, wait a second, I'm here, ladies and gentlemen. He shuts down the Bri. That is a 3 kills for the side of Mach 10. Kev Kaoken finally coming online.
Kev Kaoken finally coming online in Hive with another grace window here. They successfully defend their core, and if they can get Bartledew here, that opens up Orb Prime for them, which is going to be their first big objective of the game, other than that first Fang. But, first real big one. And you can see Nugslet already starting that with Mr. Guru. Bondrewd, though, is going to look to kind of oppress this with Bartledew. So I'm interested to see how this plays out here.
My friend, they're tickling this steal. He doesn't even care. Like, I'm waiting for the HP to go down. It's not now. Kev Kaoken, he's gone to Super Saiyan 3, but it was all just a bait and switch. Here's a massive shield slam to knock up 3. Bartledew, though,
Oh
he
my
has
God.
built-in damage. It's a high impact, skewering a couple, but finally the monkey gets taken down. The twin blast with a pop-potpourri finds a double.
They find a double, but their core is falling. However,
Ooh.
the silver lining is that Aho just spawned, and that is their wave clear. So the core should be fine, and that is a window now for the side of Hive to get this Orb Prime. However, Norf is beelining straight there as that Yin. He might be able to get some exit kills here because Nugslet just got knocked back, and it's going to be close. And Nugslet does get it for his team, but he's most likely going to fall for it.
That was almost, I see what they were doing there, Doc. They're like, okay, one of us is going to die, but that was too close for comfort for not securing that. And if it had gone the other way, holy smokes. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, 4 members for the side of Hive have the prime buff, so they'll be able to embolden their creeps to march out of the base and hopefully buy themselves a little bit more time to get that inhibitor. All the while, because of that, Doc, the Primal Fangtooth now has respawned, and it's Mach 10. It's theirs for the taking.
It is absolutely theirs for the taking. I mean, they have Yin and Sparrow. This thing is just it doesn't even exist. It's just dead. It's gone. But Aho, Boinks, and Kev, they're showing up to try to do something, try to get some sort of exit kills, but the Primal Fang does fall, giving the blaze to Mach 10, and that might be the red light for Hive to just back up. Don't die just to peek at the Fangtooth. Get out. Your North tries to jump over the ledge, does not make it with a lash kick, but Bry says, "Psych, you could have just gone through my portal, buddy."
I like that containment fence though from the side of Boinks to kind of cut off that angle there. And that was a great angle from D-Dog, who was our observer here tonight, as well as our producer for the show. So always a shout out to our commish for helping out. Doc, we're back here where we started. It's another core defense. This time, though, the Hive, they are painted in purple, ready to keep their core alive, but it's already being chunked down. You feel like North, he's just going to put down the Quelling Gale and just hack at the core as best he can. It's already chunked to about 48% HP. It's another Riplash onto Bartle, dude. That's a huge kill, and it's Aho who finishes him off again. When the fish gets hooked, it goes down. But now, Lakeinator, he steps forward. He puts in the inner fire, looking for one, looking for two, but can't find anything. Once again, a good base defense mounted for the Hive. They are protecting their core with all they got.
Yeah, Hive is protecting the Hive, if you will. But the fishing, the stasis bomb connects on the Bondrude, the Riplash into the skewer onto him, and his HP is still not moving. After all of those abilities hit him, he still had the same amount of HP. And meanwhile, North is just saying, "Get off my boy." Hit him with that wind burn, just poking them all back. Hive still not able to respond to just the double ADC pressure that's coming out from the side of Mach 10 right now. And yes, Bartledew's dead. That is a great pick, but again, it's just to support Wukong. Who really cares?
Doc, I think Bondrewd would have fallen if the forward crunch didn't pull him away from the ion strike from Boinks. It was perfectly placed. And of course, with the armor shred that it has, would have taken him down. Boinks, he's just getting bonked on the head. It's Lakeinator, finds himself a solo bolo as the support oversteps. Still, Doc, this is a 32-minute game. I didn't think it would get this far the way that it was, going one-sided for Mach 10, but they just can't seem to finish it out.
Hive are scratching and clawing their way, saying, "We deserve to be here. We are hungry to get a win." And yes, the game hasn't gone exactly the way we wanted it to or the way we envisioned it to, but we will not give up until our core falls to 0% HP. And with that said, all three inhibitors have spawned. So that is Hive effectively weathering that initial storm, protecting their core twice. And there's no major objectives on the map. So really, they just have to either get a pick or they need to just sustain and protect and hold their core even longer. But that might not happen because there's an engagement breaking out here.
There's Bry. He once again expends the black hole, and that will be Nugs. Like the robot just could not escape, and it's Guru. He does it to put in a desperation whip skewer, but the Bry, he just gets right out of it. The team is there to back him up. Mr. Guru can't find purchase in these kind of guerrilla engagements in the jungle. He seems best when he's static at the base. He just gets squished into scrap metal, basically. Bartledew finding him. That's two members down, and those are the guys that they need, Doc, to keep this core alive.
I will say, another silver lining, though, Kev Kaokin did find Lakeinator, so that leaves only one ADC on the side of Mach 10 to pressure. However, technically two still, because that Bartledew Wukong is still alive, and Bondrewd is not afraid with this shield slam coming out.
Oh, that was a nice rocket jump there from Kev KO Ken. He's Super Saiyan 4 now. He's diving in. He wants to find the Bond Druid, and so he does. Oh, that's a good Demolisher pickup for him. He's going to be slicing through that steel, no problem. But it's North. He's the ADC now, and he finds his opposite number. Takes down Kev KO Ken for 75 seconds. Boinks as well. That extra range from the wind burn just cut. There's no sunscreen on the side of the Hive. They are just burnt to smithereens. A triple kill, and it's an ace for the side of Mach 10. They're going to go to the core now, finish this one off. Game number one goes the side of Mach 10.
Mach 10, I mean, they had a little trouble closing it out, but I think part of that was they weren't really respecting Hive's hunger, I guess, because there was a window there, like a 10-minute window. Pardon the glasses. Can't see my screen. I'm an old man. But there was like a 10-15 minute window in that game after, from about 12 minutes to 27 minutes, where Mach 10 was firmly in the driver's seat. They were firmly ahead. Everything, like even if the scoreboard was even, it wasn't. It was nowhere close to being even, and that's because of the pressure that was coming out from the side of Mach 10. They were just causing so many responses, and with the high mobility from the Yin, from the Wukong, they were able to apply pressure, jump over some walls, and then be in the next place before before Hive could even respond or even think about responding. And what that did is that gave Mach 10 that man up situation, which allowed them to just steamroll. That paired with the fact that they had the superior team fight, and yeah, they just played those team fights really well, especially the exit kills and the Fang Teeth.
Absolutely, and we saw what they were trying to do, the Hive, because when they were in their base, when they had to be aggressed upon, you could see it work because the Rip Blast came through. It was perfectly layered with the Seismic Assault. Then the Nerve Disruptor came down. You could pick off a target. Then Boys could lock somebody in. Then the Nugs could come through. Like, you could see what it would do. But if you have to wait for the team to always run at you, that's not how the game is played. Sometimes you have to run at the other team. And at that point, Mr. Guru kind of fell flat because he couldn't hit the Rip Lash, right? Because it's harder to predict and then get your combinations off. So their defense was great, but sometimes you need to also have offense. So it was kind of like one-sided stat pool for the side of the Hive. But still, Doc, that was only game number 1. This is a best of 3 set here in week 4 between these two squads for that $100 and for those points. We'll get game 2 set up for you all. We're going to head to a short break.
Like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for.
Now, I mean, it's out of this to and Doc. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's HDPhillyB and Dr. Shadow here for week 4 of the PPL. We have Mach 10 versus the Hive. Doc, you said if it was going to be a Wukong support, you'd eat your socks. So there you go. Take a nice big hunk out of that one. Folks, that's the first time I've seen a monkey in the support. Okay. I love the dedication there, Doc, and that's the kind of dedication we need here in the PPL. Folks, there's a lot on the line here, as we discussed before we went to break. $100 points. I mean, the Hive, they need to get some points out of this to get themselves out of that relegation zone, Doc. I'm trying to cover so you can.
I'm good.
All right, you're good now. I mean, what was your takeaway from match number 1?
Hive needs to find a better way into the fights. They were fishing, but with extra steps, right? Stasis Bomb, into the Riplash, into the Skewer, into just hoping that they got to pick on the right person in the right time at the right place. I think they need to just change that whole strategy around. I see Harry saying clip it. Okay, cool, great.
We're gonna see that on the draft the screen next week, Doc. Just you eating a sock.
I'm gonna have to get a chocolate like outline of a sock, and then I'll actually eat it because that was gross. And I have dogs that are really hairy, so there's a lot of hair in my mouth right now. So I'm sorry. Yeah. So Hive, they gotta reassess their game plan. How do they get into these fights? What is Boink's going to be doing? What is Guru's role? Who is going to be applying pressure in the map? I think they need one more hero on their roster, whether it's the jungle, whether it's the offlane, whether it's the support, somebody who can just apply a little oomph to get some sort of response from the side of Mach 10, from the macro standpoint. For Mach 10, I think the biggest thing from them, if they want to continue and 2-0, is going to be discipline. They have to be disciplined. They can't be overextending. Like Bondrude can't be pushing in the creeps into the offlane, downed inhibitor, and then coming around the mid lane tower and dying. And right, like they got to get the buffs. They have to close out the game with the creeps. They can't just die at the core every single time. So that's just a discipline thing, right? They cleanly won that game. It was just a matter of like they just gave those little tiny inches to the side of Hive, which gave them that semblance of hope, which allowed them to hold their core. So the biggest thing is Hive.
Yeah, and that's what we want to focus on, right? Let's see how they can change it up in the draft, whether it's their offlane pick, etc. Doc, North for me, I mean, he was the triple threat. He was doing everything. He was playing jungler. He was playing ADC. I mean, if you can't keep this guy under wraps, you're going to lose every single time. So we'll see if Hive makes any adjustments in the draft to kind of keep North down. I think we can head into the draft here now to see what they do with the picks and bans.
Yeah, North. Oh man, he's easily one of, if not the most mechanically skilled player in all of Predecessor. So it's going to be really hard to shut him down unless you dedicate not just all your bans, but also you counter pick him. Like that is the only way you get him out of his hero pool, because he actually has a pool, right? He doesn't have a hero puddle. He has an actual pool of heroes. So Hive, realizing still that North is the problem, they take the Feng Mao and now the Wukong off the board. So yeah, Bartledew was the Wukong last game, but that I feel like that was just them, Mach 10 kind of cooking and trying things out, trying out a strategy in game one, because it's a best of three, right? If you try something and it doesn't work, you always have game two and potentially three to make it up. But North on the Wukong would have been even more of a disaster, like more of a menace to the side of Hive there in that game. So Countess and now Decker coming out. So that the Decker is interesting to me, because the Decker had some decent control, but it didn't feel like it addressed those things. It didn't apply the map pressure that we wanted. And again, it was like fishing, but with extra steps. So I don't know how I feel about that Decker ban, to be honest. But Hive, they're opening with a Kwang as their first pick. So that's kind of a counter pick against Mach 10. But it's also a nice comfort pick, potentially for Nugslit, potentially for Mr. Guru.
Yeah, Nugs has played the Kwang at least 3 times so far here in the PPL. We've had Aho played in the mid lane as well. Boinks, like you mentioned, Docs, he's got a hero pool as well. I mean, he's played Gadget, Narbash, Richter, Decker, FaZe, Morn. He can play anything. There it is, folks. Let me hear you in the chat. We've got the first Yurei on the battlefield. I am so excited to cast this character, my friend. And then we have the Wastelander. He's made his resurgence back onto the Sanctuary, Dr.Shadow. Uh-oh, this is going to be a little bit scary here coming out from Mach 10. The flip side, though, the Sparrow and the Howitzer being picked up for the Hive.
Yeah, I mean, Yuri could be a Bartledew support Yuri. But honestly, going back to our talking points with North and his mechanical prowess, I mean, it's got to be, right? She's one of the most high skill ceiling characters right now, with her high mobility, with her fast combos, with the fast buttons that you have to press. So I'm expecting North to be piloting this from the jungle, but the duo lane potentially shaping out to be Drongo Morn. But the Drongo, I'm excited to see the Wastelander. It has been a hot minute since I've seen Drongo. You know, it's usually been Sparrows, Skylers, who else?
Revenant.
Twin Blast, Revenant. It's been them. So I'm really glad to see Drongo making a resurgence here. And we do see the Morn as that third pick. So usually in support, especially, I know that that's like a Bartledew enjoyer hero. So it just kind of makes sense. It's a beefy boy, and we know that he has a type, and it's beefy boys plus Wukong, apparently. And on the side of Hive, we do see a Howitzer pickup, potentially going to be piloted by Aho. But also, it's an interesting pick. I don't know Aho's stats on that hero, but I do know that that's a counter pick against Bry, because he also is a Howitzer enjoyer.
So far, Aho has yet to play the Howitzer in the PPL season 2. So this will be the first time we'll be seeing him on that. And it could just be a preemptive counter to see if Bry goes for the Gideon at the end. So just very interesting. I also like to apologize to Boinks. Her pronouns are she, her. So I apologize, Boinks. I'll make sure I'll get that right in the cast moving forward. We are seeing the Crunch taken out here by Mach 10, just taking one of Nugslit's favorite characters off the board. And then we're seeing the Steel banned as well. I mean, Bondra, just so tanky, like we said, was barely being tickled in some of those engagements. So the Steel just so versatile, might as well just remove it. And Doc, it's time for the Bartle Bash. Narbash has made his way to the Sanctuary.
Whoa. Let's not jump to conclusions. It could be a Bartle Bash, it could be a Narbash off lane and a Morn being piloted by the Bartle Bash or the Bartledew. Oh my god, I'm getting it all mixed up. There's still some flexibility there, though. You know, both of them are Bartledew's type. So you know, who winks the hardest is going to get the love from him in this game. And I think I think both are viable in both roles currently. So it's going to be very interesting to see where they end up. And I love that confusion that Mach 10 is going to be inducing into Hive here. Whereas Hive's layout, it's a little, they still have that flexibility with jungle off lane, but it's a little more clear potential. I mean, just thinking about Mr. Guru, right? He's more likely to play the Sevarog, I think. And the Boinks. I mean, Boinks is going to be piloting that Muriel without a doubt, unless they do some spicy Muriel mid type stuff. But I'm not expecting spice coming out from Hive, who are still just struggling to find their footing with the basics in this PPL season 2.
Yeah, Doc, I know you're a big fan of Muriel and Zinx mid lane, but I don't think we'll be seeing any of that. But I love this pickup of the Muriel, and I was kind of thinking about this today as I was driving home from work. I'm like, all right, with this new mage meta and the decrease in armor growth, magical armor growth, is it time for those enchanter supports to get their day back into the sun? Because over the previous meta, it was the beefy boys, right? It was the Steels, it was the Morns, it was the Richters playing the support to pair with the Sparrow and the Revenant. Now with a little bit of that change, we see the Decker, we're seeing the Muriel, we're seeing the Narbash, right? These enchanter supports have come back into the fray. So I'm very excited for Boinks to pilot this character. But normally, Doc, we see the Muriel kind of paired up with the Dive, right? You have a Zarus to go in or a Crunch to go in with, and then you layer the Muriel on top. Right now, though, my friend, I'm not really seeing who's diving in. Maybe Mr. Guru on the Sevarog if he, Phantom rushes in, but he's kind of beefy himself. He's kind of wanting to start the fight, not really kind of sit in it. So I don't know, confusion a little bit, but I'm here for it. On the other end, though, Doc, we're seeing the Fae, the last pick here for Mach 10.
Mach 10 has a very, very tanky, sustainable team. Whether it's Morn core or support, or Narbash core or support, Fae potentially has a heal as well. That's 3 potential heals on their team, as well as armor and defensive buffs. And I am very concerned for Hive right now because it's going to be very difficult to cut through with the tools that they have on their team unless Boinks builds offensively and becomes really aggressive on that Muriel. Because as we saw in the last game with Lakeinator piloting the Sparrow, oppression was the name of the game in the first 10 minutes of the game. Just running at Kev and Boinks, just oppressing them. And that is what I would like to see coming out from Hive's duo lane here with the Muriel, with the Serenity that enhances damage taken by 8%, as well as the Sparrow who just pumps. I like Mach 10's draft.
I like it too, Doc. There's a ton of healing, and not to mention the team fight. If you go Soulstorm right into a Crash Bang Boom, and then the Untamed Growth, like right there, the Fly Trap rather, right there. I mean, that's a huge wombo combo, and I'm a big fan of that. Where once again, Hive seems to be going for this kind of pick composition. Can they get 1 or 2 members isolated? Colossal blow them back into the fray and then take them down with an R2000 rocket, something along those lines. So once again, seems like it's very difficult for the Hive to execute this draft. Doc, if we're seeing heal comp over here on Mach 10, it's the Smog Therapy from the Drongo, the heals from the Contagion, the Narbash healing up with the Song of the People, and then the augment from the Fae that allows the Untamed Growth to heal people. I mean, can this even be cut down? Are they just never going to lose their HP pool? I'm excited to find out, folks. And I know you are. Let's head into the Sanctuary. There we go. All right. I'm just taking a look at the augments here, Doc, and it is Lakeinator picking up the Smog Therapy and Bry picking up the augment that allows the heal on the Untamed Growth. We're in for a treat.
I don't know how Hive is going to cut through that with, pardon, the banners are switched at the top. That's going to be confusing. But, yeah, I don't know how Hive is going to cut through that because that is, tainted items just aren't that strong right now in terms of dealing with the amount of heals, right? If they were, I don't know, multiplicative in a different way, maybe they'd be able to cut down, but that is 4 separate types of healing coming out for them. Bear with us, folks. We are experiencing a brief little laggy lag here, in part potentially because D-Dog's going to fix the banners, I don't know. But the game has started, and now we're in it, and we do see that it is Bartle Bash, as you predicted, and it's going to be a Morn offlane piloted by Bondrude. So he's going to be over here taking on Guru Seborog. I'm not expecting too much kill ability going on here, but Bondrude proving me wrong here, beating down Guru. What I'm really excited, though, what I'm really excited for is to see Norf on that Yuri in our first competitive game.
Yeah, that's going to be huge, and we see Nugzlit making their presence known here, diving in onto Bondrude, has that level 2 advantage and the red buff. He blinks right forward, goes for the light of the heavens to get a little extra damage in, but the Morn so tanky, those barks so sturdy. I don't think he'll fall down just yet. Does get tethered to the ground, takes a couple tower shots. I guess he's going to dive under this, a blink dodge, and it's a first blood and fancy footwork from Bondrude. That's why he's one of the best in the world, and he secures it for Mach 10.
An allied tower is under attack.
There, I mean, he was on 100 ping probably, and just teleporting around the map. Nugzlit to try to chase. Aho being pressured out as we're seeing Yuri, level 3, running. Move into Nugzlit's jungle here. Nugzlit on his blue side. North knows that, so North is going to look to deny as much farm from him as possible, knowing that there's no reason for Nugzlit to be on that red side of the jungle. I mean, macro level gameplay right now.
An allied tower is under attack.
We saw that.
Torn apart.
Aggressive hero than what the Yin was. Yin wanted to farm and just cut across the map, and then came online, but I'm not so certain.
I think it's about when you get like 1 or 2 items online, so you have a little bit more durability and a little bit more ability haste, so you can get that burst of potential. But right now being bursted is Bri. The slowing grenades make him expend the blink. Nugzlit just showing his face there to get that done. But I love that counter jungle like we talked about at the top of game 1, because Nugzlit made that early aggressive move right after red buff in the level 2. His 5 and 2 camp were open. North knew that, puts a little bit of pressure on the mid lane. How he can't contest that, then goes right for it. Now Nugzlit swapping over to the dual lane. Not enough kill potential just yet, as Boinks, she does not have a lot of mana here to put in some of those alacrities and serenities, so no damage being done just yet, but a good rotation here from the side of the Hive.
I like what Nugzlit did. Instead of going back after that engagement with lane break, Rise Blink, could have gone back to the side farm, but he knew that he could capitalize on that. Denied him in the mid lane, though,
Oh.
Through the veil.
dashing again.
Echoes of the past.
Looking this back line here. Takes Boinks out and almost.
Yeah, there's no chance that the Lonely Sparrow is going to survive that one. This is the power of the Yuri, folks. This is what we've seen in trailers, what you've seen in your games. Just that mobility, the severing of souls, just dashing around the map, bursting everybody down, especially folks that are low. They thought they were safe with Nugzlit there in the duo lane, but they were not. They were just right for the picking. Dude, the duo lane, Doc, is where we've been seeing a lot of action so far in this series.
Conditions for Mach 10. I mean, they have so many win conditions with North, with Bri, and Lincolnator especially. Like, those are the core premises, and Bondrude and Bartle do really play around them. They have a lot of flexibility, whereas Kevkeo can, at least to date, is currently the big win condition for the side of Hive. So if they can shut him down, they take the main. That's not to say that you're not going anywhere.
Oh, I like how deep They are going now, and it's a nice serenity and alacrity being tossed in here, but the Song of the People, the Eclipse expended so they can't see anything. Lakenator's the first one to fall. Bartledew doing his dangest to drum away and keep himself alive, but Kev KO Ken will pierce his singing heart. There goes the Orc Bard, and it's a nice rotation. 3 kills across the map here for the Hive.
You can't conceal this devastation.
Massive save there from Boinks to keep their mid laner alive, but Doc, oh, North dove too deep. It's Kev KO Ken comes to the rescue. The Huntress finds the last hero Shinzo and takes her down. Bry trying to escape the flower, pulls out from under him. A desperate fly trap, but it's all for naught. It's Kev KO Ken with a double.
An allied tower is under attack.
He gets another double kill. So he is feeling very good. They have turned something on that seems to have been missing in game 1, and
An allied tower is under attack.
showing up and having such an impact in game 1
Dodge this!
Bondra is here as well, just to help out a little bit, put in some healing. I do want to mention that Kev KO Ken has gone Tainted rounds first, Doc. So even though Tainted's maybe not as strong as they used to be, I mean, against the amount of healing that is being pumped out from Mach 10, you have to do it. You have to get a Tainted item at some point. I do want to mention, we were talking right before that red buff engagement, this Howitzer against the Yuri. Howitzer is a refrigerator, like we talked about, but he's so hard to hit some of those abilities when somebody's dashing around that I feel like if those two find each other, it's going to be the Yuri 10 out of 10 times who wins that engagement. So luckily, Boyce was there to save the mid laner at the final moment, but you feel like if they find Aho again, it's going to be scary for him. He's going to have a really tough time in these fights. Going to be singled out a lot. We do see these two offlaners just kind of duking it out, waiting to scale into the game. We're seeing the catalytic drive being picked up here, just to put in a little bit more magic resistance, help them get a little bit more gold online. Oh my gosh, Boinks, she's doing everything, and Kev KO Ken somehow snuck his way, because using the heightened sense to sneak their way in there, does take down one, but North gets the shutdown. That's a huge bounty of gold going the way of the jungler. It's a double kill somehow, some way, sweeps up the Nugslet, finds a little pocket of gold there as well. Oh, it looked so good for the Hive, and then it just dropped as they dove on in. I got to applaud Boinks there, Doc, because she has picked up the aerial assistance augment, which allows the reversal of fortune to cleanse allies and grant CC immunity. So that saved Nugslet from the fly trap, and he was able to get out of there, but still fell. You hate to see it. The support's probably groaning so hard after that one.
I thought he just walked out of range there, but no, that makes a lot more sense. No, it was cleansed. It's happened before, so don't scoff too hard, but it was definitely a stretch of the imagination. Kev does find a long Bry. Link up.
An allied tower is under attack.
Watching, please let enemies follow through the torn space building of Gideon. Anyway. traps, and we're still going to be laying those heals down in team fights.
Settle down!
That's going to be even more heals to sustain further north while he's jumping all the way from everybody back and forth and side to side.
Sucks everybody in, but it's a make it rain. He has the augment that gives him the speed. He's just putting it all on top of Bry. Can he find it? Can he get the last kill? Yes, again. R2000 rocket explodes right in his face. Mr. Guru has finally decided to show up saying, hey, everybody, but it may be a little bit too late as the engagement is already kind of fallen away, but a nice little skirmish there for the Hive. They're buzzing again. I'm seeing a Tainted Totem here for Boink, some Tainted Scepter here for Aho. Doc, they are going to need showers after this one. Everyone's feeling a little bit grimy after picking up these items first.
Yeah, I mean, some of the Tainted items are actually just really, really good. Like Tainted
No
Scepter is
further.
apparently a really good item, period, end of sentence, even if you're not against healing heroes. But items like Tainted Scepter you generally see unless you're against major healing issues. So it's a very solid pick that's going to allow all of his teammates to live light touch. So it's absolutely necessary, especially against the Smash. Heals stop. He's going to have 15 minutes probably. It's a little crazy, but yeah, the Hive on a game here. They have found at least some semblance of mojo compared to game 1, where it just felt like they were kind of matching or mirroring Mach 10 for 10 minutes or so in game 1, and then things just fell apart. So we've surpassed the 10-12 minute mark. Can Hive continue this momentum per se?
Dun 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 dun. The ticking time bomb of the Orc Bard, though. Doc, we say it every single time, that 20-22 minute mark. Once they get all their items online, it's going to be hard to stop, especially with all the other healing. Right now, though, it's the Fangtooth that we're fighting over. So weak is this dinosaur. Ken pops up once again. He goes Super Saiyan, puts on the inner fire, shoots down a couple, but nobody falls just yet. The fire trap to keep the Sparrow in. Yum, yum, yum. That's a tasty bird, and it's Bry who picks up the kill. Bartle Bash, though, he's keeping the rest of his team alive. He's causing so much distraction. North dives into the backline and finds Boinks on the support. She couldn't heal her team up through that. And it's a good turnaround here for the side of Mach 10, but Hive, they come away with the Fang.
Hive come away with one more Fang than they had in game 1.
Under attack.
And that an allied tower has been destroyed. After giving exit kills for an objective, right? But it did seem again. Shows up, Fury 7, chunks down north of that engagement, and Kev again pops the inner fire. It felt like there was a objective heroes. So it felt a little disjointed. Okay, this says psych. Thought sends it back to base.
The target prioritization, the communication from the Hive. The Queen has laid down the orders, and they are all following suit off the back of Kev Kaoken just popping up out of nowhere, using the augment of the invisibility extremely well. Now can they find some exit kills? Bondroid has finally decided to show face here. The fly trap expended once again, but doesn't really do anything but just buy them time. Nugzlet running at people. He feels emboldened on the Kwang. Still a very strong character, especially with the lack of magic armor people have. Right now, you feel like the Hive, they're doing an expert job, especially if they can find Bride inner fire, though. And there it is, the piercing shot takes down the fairy.
Under attack.
Walking across the map, just getting favor of Mach 10, so yeah, they've been bleeding a couple kills here and there, but map-wise, the map is more open than the side of Hive.
No further.
With the help of Nugslet there, of course. But yeah, the Soulstorm may have dispelled his doom because it kind of brought Aho in a little bit closer. He had a point blank rocket to the face. So you do love to see it. But Doc, you feel like Mach 10. They're just biding their time, right? Like a villain waiting for the right moment. You think that, yes, they've lost a couple Fang Teeth early. Yes, they've lost a couple kills, but that tower advantage is going their way. And right now, oh, it's a reversal of fortune to keep Kev KO alive. He has to go invis, but Lakeinator, he goes in with the revolver and the rad rounds. He says, hello, up close and personal. He's just taking shot after shot by Boinks, and she is taking every bullet for the president, and it allows Nugslet to come in. It was just a bait dangling the piece of meat in front of him. Lakeinator was none the wiser, and his head is now rolling over here in the dual lane.
Back in a minute. Take this.
So she will avoid my flame for now.
They finish it, Doc. They get it down to about half health. Now it's the Soul Surgeons going in. It takes down half health, but Kevko again says, have a load of this. The inner fire blasting through. Now it is Io over the top with the make it rain from a safe distance. Does trade out the jungler, but they lose 3 in the pit. All the while, though, in the final moments, Doc, the Fangtooth secured. That's number 3 going the way of the Hive. Yes, they lose 3, but they gain the Monty at the end.
They hit the third Fang at the cost of losing 3.
Allied tower is under attack.
Lakeinator sieging this tier 1 tower. Mid lane is going to
Right there!
North is looking at the blueprints and saying, all part of the plan. And as he's like, putting his fingers together, now Nugslet has to trade out this tier 1, but might be trading out his life. He goes in the Fury to head into just another Soul Storm here that sucks him right up, and it's North in a fury of blows just cuts down the swordsman. There is nothing Nugslet can do about that.
You cannot run.
Looking across the map, I mean, Hive doing good things compared to game 1 especially. I mean, they are ahead in kills on the scoreboard. They have 3 Fang Teeth, 1 Mini Prime to the name. Yeah, this is
Stop there.
right now, so it's gonna take a really big move, which isn't gonna happen anytime soon. FKO can melting. He's trying to establish dominance, and Aho also gets a kill in the mid lane.
What is happening? It's just like Mach 10 is bleeding kills. They're the ones this time in disarray, not linking up Hive Mind wise. Bondrude, where are you going, buddy? He blinks the other way. Now expends the Eclipse to give himself a little bit of extra movement speed. Kev KO truly embodying the Huntress now, just taking down members 1 by 1. Doc, I do want to mention that North has picked up the Soul Reaver Augment, which reduces the cooldown of Soulstorm by 10%. So that's why you can see him kind of diving into these engagements time and time again. He also picked up the Penumbra, which I love because of the shields that Boinks is giving out to her team, as well as Nugslets on the Kwong Bear, right, shielding himself. So I really like that pickup, though. We do find that Mach 10 picks up a couple of kills and maybe even an inhibitor as the Prime is traded out. Nugslets will have something to say about it. He dives in on the Wastelander, Lakeinator. He just dives into the tower and says, maybe I'll get the trade. He does not. Lakeinator will fall for his transgressions, however.
Lakeinator definitely not respecting Hive. Definitely very hungry for the tower. I'm not exactly certain which one it is, but he wanted that.
See the light!
Dives in, but he had to make something happen there, though, because they knew that they were sacrificing.
An allied tower is under attack.
Their teammates. Unfortunate that Boinks had to fall there, but Boinks bought just enough time there in that allow her team to get that buff and get out.
Oh my god, I mean, poor Bond, dude. He just doesn't seem like he's doing much. Oh, Aho with a perfect stasis crest. That is the value we love to see. Blocks the entire Soul Storm and allows the space to come through to take down that tier 2. That's a good chunk of gold. Eventually, the hamster in the rocket machine will go down. Lakeinator finds the kill. Now the rest of the Hive, they are running for their lives, trying to make their way back to the honeycombs of goodness. Kevko again says, no, we can turn it around. The Crash Bang Boom, though, will come through in its full duration, and it will be 2 more heads rolling here in the jungle.
Major turning point for this game, despite the map pressure that Hive has obtained through that Orb Prime.
Gotta say, love what D-Dog's doing here on the camera, just showing where North is, waiting for an unsuspecting victim to make their way into the jungle. They're gonna gobble up that blue buff if they can. I liked what Boinks was doing there, Doc. She knew the fight was kind of lost. She went to the offlane to apply a little bit of pressure, and thus you see 3 members from the side of Mach 10 are over there to respond to it. There's no Prime up just yet, so now they have to find somewhere else to rotate. The red side jungle is kind of dismantled at this point, so they're kind of just floundering over there a little bit. But it's still anybody's game. I know Hive, they seem to be rolling away with it from time to time, but now the Drongo, Doc, especially in that last fight, he's cooking.
Drongo is out. Primal Blaze online for another minute or so. This is going to be a small win here for Mach.
Oh.
Into a Boinks Kevko special, and they just turn and say, here, have mine.
Oh, it's easy to hit that big chunky boy. He may not be wearing the bikini, but he's still easy to hit. North just kind of stuck there for a moment, maybe disconnected, maybe lagged out, but the jungler will go down. Mr. Guru, you can see how spiky he is in the items he has. He's going full on tank. He just wants to be in the front line, taking all the shots. That's a great twofer for the side of the Hive. Let's see what they can do with it, Doc. They need to get some objectives off the board.
There are no good objectives. Slight advantage that they have. It is unfortunate that North is disconnected, but that could be the window that Hive needs to kind of find something.
Right there!
Nothing for them to really find.
And they find Fry has to expend the blink. Bond once again just seems awkward in these fights, and that's a Fury of the Heavens just right in there from Nugslit. Has to do the Light of the Heavens as well to stay alive, and the Reversal of Fortune is expended on him, even though he was out, so maybe a little bit of a misplay there from Boinks, expending that crucial ultimate. You feel like the Hive, they're emboldened, they can't step out of line, Doc, and any misstep, and Mach 10 will take advantage. They are down a player as North has disconnected. Maybe they will back off here just for now as they know the Prime is coming. They're going to set the lanes here, Doc, because they are pushing into them on the outer sides, and those are going to be the toughest to handle if they're not prepared. So maybe get one more buy-in and rotate over to the big bot.
Absolutely. They need to get a buy-in, maintain the momentum they have with
Back in a minute.
Monty. That pressure in that off lane, keep some in the mid lane.
Be right back. Too close.
I mean, you saw how fast Nugslit just got chunked down with in that last engagement in the mid lane.
Nowhere.
This is a tight corridor. This is perfect for Soulstorm. This is exactly where they want to do it. Layer it with the fly trap as well. It's about now the fight being split a little bit. Mr. Guru doing his job, taking some attention away and allowing the squishier characters to be exposed. That's a nice boop there from the side of Aho to get a Bomb Druid out of position. Can they finish it? Nugslit is going toe-to-toe with his opposite number, but North getting the better of him. We go back to the mid lane. It's Kev Kaoken who takes down the Orc Bar, but can they find Lake and Nader? Yes, they do. See you later, my friend. Now Aho takes to the skies to try to find North. The last Kiroshinzo just severing their way through the battlefield. Still a danger at this moment, and it's a double for the jungler. North is able to get out of dodge. It's a 2-for-2 trade here in the mid lane.
Starts the game with the pick on the Nugslit, which allows his cooldowns to reset.
Settle down.
And that gave him that confidence to jump back into that fray, into that game, take out the armor. About half HP.
Man, and he has to put down the Razorback as well. But there it is, the Reversal of Fortune to help out the tank. Boinks now has been fly trapped and stuck in position. She has to run away. The Muriel, the Angel of the Heavens, will be eliminated. You can just see the skill cap here on North. He is just jumping through everybody. The Anima Burst will hear him up, and the Severance as well. Aho, he is not going to be long for his world, and there it goes. We talked about it time and time again. If push comes to shove, Yuri is going to win that trade every single time.
Taste my will.
Straight to the right there of North. Well, North's left.
Echoes of the past.
Whatever angle.
My aim is true. Meet your end.
But it might be a little bit too deep. There's a nice surge of the Heavens there from Nugslit. So just gotta pop him up and say, hey, wait a second. The Bry says, I'll do you one better. Here's a fly trap to munch on, and that will clean him up. Now the inner fiery desperation from Kev Kaoken. Is it crumbling here for Doc? All 5 members have been eliminated.
Weathered the
To rest.
for Hive to deal with the Ure unless Nugslit can hit the tether. That is it. That is the only way you are going to kill this North Ure in this game. The only.
God, it's so hard because she has Draconum online now, and you saw it in that engagement with Aho. One Anima Burst, so that one sweeping kick of green there, that right there, it healed her right up, and she was fine, right? So it's like, Right, so even then, looking more like a Morgash, right? Just running through people, healing up. Even if you do lock her down, it's going to be hard to kill her all the way with 3,000 HP. They easily take that Orb Prime now. They are buffed in purple. They're going to be looking to put the hurt on, maybe clear some camps, and then push that last couple towers.
Say compared to the side of Hive. Yes, they're down the inhibitors, but I don't think that matters after these last couple of engagements. The shutdown bounties, the objective gold. The game is falling apart for Hive, and they have to tighten it up. They got to stop playing as 2 units and start playing as 1 unit. They need to know that North is going to be always looking at that back line, and they need to always be ready to hit him with something. It's really hard, but you also have to be, pushing forward, doing something forward, right? Creating they have to have somebody whose job it is to respond to North's fury, because that is proving to be way too difficult for us.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is the peel. The peel needs to be there from the frontline guys, but they have to be in the front line because Lakeinator is there just popping revolver shots, so somebody's got to take some damage. And then how do you engage? Because Mr. Guru and Nuglet are your engage tools as well. This is kind of where the Muriel falls off because she doesn't have a stun. She doesn't have lockdown. And Aho as well, because he has a displacement with the mine, but that's about it. So if you can push Yuri away, but she might just dash back in again. So it's really tough for them to kind of dissuade North from making their way into the backline without giving up space in return. And when you give up that space, with the likes of Lakeinator and the Bash, they're just going to run right at you and take you down.
Just like that with the double bubble buff.
The speed boost, just everybody just right out of dodge, and there is the fly trap to suck into. Nuglet has to expend the light of the heavens and end the reversal fortune to keep him alive, but it will all be for naught. There's just so much damage from the high ground. Kev KO Ken lays me in her fire, but that is just tickling behind Druid. He is so dang tanky at this point, and it's a double kill for the Durango, and this might spell doom for the side of the Hive. There's only a couple Bs left, making a triple for the carry. One more to go down. Yikes. Doc, I think this might go the way of Mach 10. They're still fighting onward, but it's North who's disconnected. Mr. Guru, he is still pretty sustainable at this point, and with only Bomb Druid and the Bash, I guess the core will stay alive just for now. That saved him. Oh my gosh, Mr. Guru, that's the first time we've seen a colossal blow. Bro, just back off, man. These two, they're just going to be pocket healing each other all the way home. Okay, finally, he says he needs to go help out his base because the Muriel, maybe not the best wave clear in the world here, Doc, and the creeps, they're marching in.
He just needs a Stormbreaker and about 4 other items, and then maybe shoot some creeps, but even then, it's not great. It does not feel good to have creeps with a Muriel. However, the rest of Hive has respawned, but at the same time, the 6th Fang of the game has spawned, and North is
You cannot run.
Only level 17, he's down just a little bit here. He does know that North is here, but North has a spell shield, so now that single tether
Echoes of the past.
It's not as guaranteed.
Right there!
Get burned somehow, some way, if they want to stop him. It's a very difficult
Yeah, I don't know if they should take this, Doc. I mean, right now, Boyce is on the other side of the map. They can reversal of fortune in should she need to, But Mr. Guru, he says, all right, we're going in. He sounds the trumpet. He's ready to rumble. Nuglet now. He's making his presence known. He dodges and he wants to get the steal off. He doesn't. The shrapnel cannon secures it, and that's all that they need for the go button to be hit. The Soul Storm sucks everybody in, and it's North who finds his opposite number once again. Nuglet tried to do something, but leads his team off the edge of the cliff. 3 go down.
Another 35-minute plus banger here in this series.
This one had it all, my friend. I was rooting for Hive the entire way. I thought they had it, but I knew in the back of my mind, Mach 10, they were just scaling. As you say, we're scaling. I just knew around that 22-minute mark, it was going to be rough. And especially seeing the Ure, what timings they have and what items they got. We did see the Nightfall eventually, which helps them with ability heal and shield on takedown. And that's what they're going to do. Just slice through everybody, sever the souls, get takedown after takedown, couple that with the Penumbra to get their cooldowns back. I mean, you were just an ability hasted machine. It was a treat to watch North on that character. Got applied the Hive though, Doc. They did a fantastic job in this game.
Yeah, Hive absolutely showed positive signs, things that I think they really, if they go back and VOD review, I really hope that they take positive things from that map or from that game, because there were definitely signs that where they were outplaying a team of the caliber of Mach 10, right? So they definitely, their communication at more times in game 2 than game 1, it felt like they were one unit instead of 2 separate units. But there were still those times, and those cracks were just enough for Mach 10 to just wedge something between it and break them apart. And that's to be expected when you're against a team of Mach 10's caliber, right? These all-time uber 3-year veterans of the game, plus all the Paragon years. So you can't be too mad, and you shouldn't be upset, because again, that failure, I was so focused on the failure at the end of the game that I didn't even talk about the core dying. But I think it's so important as a team to really accept that and do that together, because it's better to follow one person's call, go in there, go together, and do it as a team, because that's going to be better than failing together as 5 separate individuals who say, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't do that, or maybe we shouldn't do that, maybe we should do this. So I commend them for that, and I hope they don't mentally break after such a loss, because they put on one hell of a fight.
Heck yeah, taking Mach 10 to 2 games, 30 minutes plus. I mean, that is huge, because we've seen Mach 10 run over teams in 17 minutes, 20 minutes, etc. So the fact that they were making them quake a little bit, like, all right, are we sure that this long game is going to work? Is the long con going to happen? And eventually it did. They were able to get Fangtooth after Fangtooth and then just take the base from there. So it will be a 2-0 sweep for the side of Mach 10. They will get 2 points this week and $100 in their pocket. They are now on the heels of Mythic, and they're saying, Mythic, you better 2-0 or, we're going to take that top spot. So a lot to play for in this one. Folks, we do have another match which will happen on Thursday. Let me just get the broadcast schedule, and I will tell you who it is. And we will have Mythic versus Primal on Thursday. So that is one you will want to see. So tune into the PPL at 7:30 Eastern time. We'll see you then.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating.